The quiet power of Benjamin Franklin. The boy who refused to stay small. There are two kinds of power in this world. The first kind is loud. It shouts. It demands attention. It wants to be seen. The second kind is quiet. It grows slowly. It builds patiently. It changes the world without asking permission. Benjamin Franklin belonged to the second kind. He was not born into power. He was not born into wealth. He was not born into education. He was born into a crowded house. 17 children. 17 voices. 17 lives fighting for space. His father made candles. His mother managed a home that never felt large enough. There was little money. Little comfort. Little silence. But inside that noise, inside that small house in Boston in the year 1706, a different kind of future was forming. Benjamin was not the strongest child. He was not the loudest. He was not the favorite. But he was curious. And curiosity is a quiet revolution. This is not just the story of a scientist. Not just the story of a founding father. Not just the story of a man on the $100 bill. This is the story of a self-made mind. A mind that built itself without permission. A mind that turned discipline into freedom. A mind that proved something powerful. You do not need perfect conditions to build a great life. You need control over yourself. And if you are learning English, this story will help you in two ways. You will follow long ideas. You will understand deep meaning in simple language. You will stay focused for long listening. Because this story is written clearly. Slowly. With intention. Now take a quiet breath. And let us return to a small house in Boston, where a boy with ink on his fingers was about to change his own destiny. Chapter 1. The boy with only 2 years of school. Benjamin Franklin went to school for only 2 years. 2 years. After that, there was no more money. His father needed help. Candles had to be made. Soap had to be sold. The family had to survive. At 10 years old, Benjamin entered the world of work. He cut candle wicks. He melted wax. He carried heavy supplies. It was not a life of ideas. It was a life of repetition. But something important was happening. While his hands worked, his mind observed. He watched customers. He listened to conversations. He noticed patterns. Even as a child, he understood something most adults miss. If you cannot control your environment, control your attention. And his attention belonged to books. Books were expensive. He could not buy them. So he borrowed them. He read late at night. He read before sunrise. He read while others rested. He was tired often. But he chose knowledge over comfort. This was the first sign of discipline. The printing shop and the first secret identity. At 12, his father sent him to work for his older brother James. James owned a printing shop. Printing was not just business. It was influence. Newspapers shaped opinions. Pamphlets moved ideas across cities. Benjamin entered a world of language. He learned how letters were arranged, how words became arguments, how arguments became power. But he was only an apprentice. Young, controlled, often criticized. His brother was strict, sometimes cruel. Benjamin had opinions, strong ones. But his name carried no authority. So he did something clever. He wrote essays under a fake name. Silence Dogood. He pretended to be an older woman. His essays were thoughtful, funny, sharp. People loved them. Readers wrote letters asking, "Who is Silence Dogood?" James printed them proudly. He did not know his younger brother was the author. Benjamin watched silently. He learned a lesson that would guide him for life. When your name has no power, let your ideas earn it first. Eventually, the truth was discovered. His brother was furious. The relationship broke. And Benjamin faced his first major decision. Stay small. Or leave everything. He chose to leave. He was still a teenager. He had little money, little security. But he had something else. A plan to build himself. Alone. Chapter 2. The runaway with bread in his hands. When Benjamin left Boston, he did not leave as a hero. He left quietly. Without celebration. Without support. He traveled first to New York. He looked for work in printing. But there was none. He was young. Unknown. Replaceable. Many people at that age would return home. Return to safety. Return to familiarity. Benjamin did not. He continued south to Philadelphia. He arrived tired. Hungry. Almost invisible. There is a famous image of that day. A teenage boy walking down Market Street. Bread under each arm. His clothes dusty from travel. His face uncertain but determined. No one around him knew that this quiet stranger would one day negotiate with kings. But at that moment, he was simply a young man looking for opportunity. The first illusion of success. Benjamin found work in a printing shop. He impressed his employers quickly. He worked harder than others. He spoke less. He listened more. Soon, he met the governor of Pennsylvania. The governor made promises. Big promises. He told Benjamin, "You are talented. You should open your own printing business." He promised financial support. He promised connections. He promised success. Benjamin believed him. He was young. Ambitious. hungry for growth. He traveled to London expecting help. But when he arrived, he discovered the truth. There was no support, no money, no plan. The governor had lied. Benjamin was alone in a foreign country. No business, no protection, no clear future. This was his first major failure. Failure as education. Many people break after betrayal. They become bitter, angry, distrustful. Benjamin did something different. He observed. He asked, "What did I miss?" He realized something important. Never build your future on someone else's promise. Build it on your own preparation. So he worked in London as a printer. He studied the European market. He improved his skills. He saved money. He strengthened himself quietly. London did not give him opportunity. It gave him clarity. After nearly 2 years, he returned to Philadelphia. Not as a dreamer, but as a planner. The system begins. Back in America, Benjamin opened his own printing shop. But this time, he was cautious. He partnered carefully. He managed money strictly. He avoided unnecessary risk. He woke early. He followed routines. And here something powerful happened. He began designing himself intentionally. Not reacting to life. Designing it. He created daily schedules. He divided his time. Work. Study. Reflection. Improvement. He believed time must be controlled, or it will control you. The 13 Virtues, the blueprint of a character. Benjamin Franklin understood something rare. Success is not a single event. It is a system of habits. So he created a list. 13 virtues. Not spiritual decoration. Not poetry. Practical behaviors. Temperance, do not overeat or drink too much. Silence, speak only what benefits others or yourself. Order, let every part of your life have structure. Resolution, finish what you start. Frugality, waste nothing. Industry, always be productive. Sincerity, be honest. Justice, do not harm others. Moderation, avoid extremes. Cleanliness, respect your body and space. Tranquility, do not be disturbed by small things. Chastity, control desire. Humility, imitate great thinkers, but stay grounded. He tracked them daily. He marked his failures. He corrected himself. He treated his personality like a project. This was revolutionary. He did not wait for motivation. He built discipline. And discipline built confidence. The power of self-control. As his printing business grew, so did his reputation. He published useful information. Practical advice. Financial wisdom. Moral reflections. He became known not for drama, but for reliability. He understood that character is slow to build, but fast to destroy. And so he guarded it carefully. The silent shift. At some point, something changed. Benjamin Franklin was no longer trying to survive. He was beginning to influence. People listened to him. Young workers asked for guidance. Neighbors respected his judgment. He did not ask for leadership. Leadership found him. Because competence attracts responsibility. But the world was changing. America was changing. Tension was growing between colonies and Britain. And soon, Benjamin Franklin would step beyond printing. Beyond science. Beyond business. He would enter something far more dangerous. Politics. And this time, the risks would be larger. Not just financial, but national. Chapter 3. The Man Who Challenged the Sky. By the time Benjamin Franklin became stable in business, he could have chosen comfort. He had income. He had respect. He had influence in Philadelphia. But comfort never satisfied him. His curiosity was stronger than security. And curiosity pushed him towards something dangerous. Electricity. A world that feared the sky. In the 1700s, lightning was terrifying. When storms came, people prayed. When lightning struck, buildings burned. Churches caught fire. Ships were destroyed. People believed lightning was a sign from God. Punishment. Judgment. Mystery. But Franklin saw something else. He saw a question. What if lightning is only electricity? This idea was not obvious. Electricity was still new in science. Experiments were basic. Knowledge was incomplete. But Franklin noticed similarities. Small electric sparks in laboratories looked like tiny lightning bolts. What if the sky was simply larger? He did not accept fear. He tested it. Risk and calm. The famous kite experiment was not a moment of madness. It was calculation. Franklin did not stand directly under lightning. He did not allow himself to be struck. He created a controlled situation. A silk kite. A metal key. A storm cloud. Rain made the string wet. The key began to attract small sparks. Electricity. Not divine anger. Not supernatural power. Natural energy. This discovery changed the world. But here is something important. Franklin did not scream about his success. He did not celebrate loudly. He wrote calmly. He explained clearly. He allowed evidence to speak. That was his style. Let facts persuade. Not ego. From discovery to protection. Many inventors chase fame. Franklin chased usefulness. After proving lightning was electrical, he asked a second question. How can we protect people? He invented the lightning rod. A simple metal rod placed on top of buildings. When lightning strikes, the rod directs the energy safely into the ground. Buildings stopped burning. Lives were saved. Churches stopped collapsing. People felt safer. He did not patent the invention. He did not charge money for it. He believed ideas belonged to humanity. He once said, "As we benefit from the inventions of others, we should be glad to share our own." This mindset was rare. Even today, it is rare. Fame without attachment. News of his discovery traveled quickly. Europe was impressed. Scientists in France and England respected him. He received honors. He became a member of scientific societies. But fame did not change his daily routine. He still woke early. He still tracked his virtues. He still reflected each night. Because he understood something powerful. Success can destroy discipline if you stop guarding it. The inner conflict. But there was something deeper happening. Franklin began to see that knowledge brings responsibility. He was no longer just a businessman. He was becoming a public thinker. People asked for his opinions on education, on safety, on public services. He helped create libraries. He helped organize fire departments. He improved street lighting. He encouraged public hospitals. He believed society improves when individuals improve. But with influence comes pressure. With respect comes expectation. And Franklin was entering a world where ideas were no longer neutral. Politics was rising. Tension was growing. Britain was tightening control over the colonies. Taxes increased. Voices were ignored. Franklin was now a respected thinker. And thinkers are dangerous when injustice grows. He faced a choice. Remain a scientist. Remain safe. Remain comfortable. Or step into politics, where storms are not in the sky, but in human hearts. He chose the second path. And the storms that followed would be far more dangerous than lightning. Chapter 4. The humiliation that changed everything. By the 1760s, Benjamin Franklin was no longer just a printer. He was known across the colonies. He was respected in science. He had influence in public life. But now he faced something different. The British government began increasing taxes on the American colonies. The Stamp Act. New trade laws. More control. Less freedom. Many colonists were angry. Some wanted rebellion. But Franklin did not want war. Not yet. He believed in reason. He believed in dialogue. He believed that conflict can be solved with conversation. So he traveled to London. Not as a rebel, but as a representative of the colonies. He wanted to protect American rights. Peacefully. The long wait. Franklin stayed in London for years. He tried negotiation. He wrote letters. He spoke with politicians. He explained colonial concerns calmly. He argued that cooperation was better than control. He believed Britain and America could remain united. But something slowly became clear. The British government did not see the colonies as equal partners. They saw them as property. Franklin felt the distance growing. Not physical distance. Moral distance. He began to understand that logic does not always defeat pride. The public humiliation. In 1774, something happened that changed him deeply. Franklin was called before the British Privy Council. He was accused of supporting colonial resistance. The hearing was not fair. It was not a debate. It was an attack. For nearly an hour, he was insulted publicly. Laughed at. Shamed. He stood there silently. Calm. Not defending himself loudly. Not arguing emotionally. But inside, something shifted. The man who had tried to preserve peace realized that peace required respect. And respect was no longer possible. This humiliation did not make him angry. It made him clear. When dignity disappears, cooperation dies. Soon after, Franklin left London. He returned to America. But he was not the same man who had arrived years earlier. He had changed. He no longer hoped for compromise with Britain. He understood that independence was no longer a dream. It was a necessity. From reformer to revolutionary. When Franklin returned home, war was already close. The American Revolution began in 1775. Franklin was nearly 70 years old. 70. Most men at that age retire. He stepped forward. He joined the Continental Congress. He supported the Declaration of Independence. He signed it. He knew the risks. Signing meant treason in the eyes of Britain. If the revolution failed, he would be executed. He did not hesitate. Not because he loved war, but because he loved freedom. And he believed freedom must be defended. The mission to France. America was weak. Its army was small. Its resources limited. Britain was powerful. Victory was uncertain. Franklin understood something critical. No revolution survives alone. He volunteered for one of the most difficult missions of his life. Travel to France. Convince the French government to support American independence. He was old. The journey was dangerous. The future uncertain. But he went. The power of presence. In France, Franklin did not act like a politician. He acted like himself. Simple clothes. Calm voice. Measured words. The French people admired him. They saw him as a symbol of wisdom, a philosopher, a man of science, a thinker. He did not beg for support. He built trust slowly. He attended gatherings. He listened carefully. He chose his words with precision. He allowed his reputation to work quietly. And eventually, France agreed to help America. Money, weapons, ships, soldiers. This support changed the war. Without France, the revolution may have failed. Franklin did not lead an army, but he secured the alliance that made victory possible. The weight of influence. At this stage of his life, Franklin was no longer just building himself. He was shaping history. But influence is heavy. Every decision carries consequences. Every alliance carries risk. He knew that failure would destroy everything. But he also knew something else. A life built carefully prepares you for difficult moments. He had trained his discipline for decades. He had practiced calm for years. Now that calm became strength. And strength became stability. We are now entering the final transformation. He will return home as a global figure. He will help design a new system of government. And he will face one final test. Legacy. Chapter 5. The architect of a new system. When Benjamin Franklin returned to America, he was no longer just a respected citizen. He was a symbol. A symbol of diplomacy. A symbol of reason. A symbol of stability. The war was moving toward its end. Victory was near. But winning independence is not the same as building a country. War destroys. Peace must construct. And construction requires patience. The fragile beginning. After the Revolution, America was unstable. States disagreed. Leaders argued. Money was weak. Trust was fragile. Many feared that the new nation would collapse. Franklin was now an old man. His body was tired. He walked slowly. He suffered from illness. But his mind was steady. He attended the Constitutional Convention in 1787. He was the oldest delegate in the room. Many leaders were younger, stronger, more emotional. Arguments were intense. Some wanted strong central power. Others wanted independence for each state. Voices grew louder. Egos grew larger. Franklin did something different. He reminded them of something simple. Perfection is impossible. Compromise is necessary. He once said, "When a broad table is to be made, and the edges of planks do not fit, the artist takes a little from both, and makes a good joint." In other words, to build something stable, everyone must give a little. That wisdom helped shape the Constitution. He signed the document. Not because it was perfect, but because it was possible. A moral conflict. There is something important to understand. Franklin was not perfect. In his younger years, he owned slaves. Later in life, he changed. He began to oppose slavery. He became president of an abolition society. He publicly argued against the system. This change did not erase the past, but it showed growth. Franklin believed something powerful. A person must continue improving even in old age. Self-correction is strength, not weakness. The quiet exit. As his health declined, Franklin did not complain. He continued reading, writing, thinking. Young visitors came to see him. They asked for advice. He did not give dramatic speeches. He offered practical guidance. Work hard. Be useful. Control yourself. Build something meaningful. In 1790, he died peacefully. More than 20,000 people attended his funeral. He was not a king. He was not a general. He was not a ruler. He was something rarer. He was trusted. And trust survives longer than power. Final reflection. The self-made mind. Benjamin Franklin did not begin life with advantages. He built them. He built his education. He built his habits. He built his reputation. He built alliances. He built systems. He built a nation. But the most important thing he built was himself. He proved that discipline can replace privilege. That curiosity can replace status. That patience can replace force. He did not conquer the world. He organized his time. He did not shout for influence. He prepared for it. He did not rush toward greatness. He practiced small improvements daily. And those small improvements shaped history. 7 Life Lessons from the life of Benjamin Franklin. 1. Design your life intentionally. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Create routines. Create systems. Control your time. Time builds destiny. 2. Improve yourself before criticizing the world. Franklin worked on his own discipline before trying to shape society. Personal order creates social order. 3. Protect your reputation carefully. Trust is slow to build, fast to destroy. Guard it daily. 4. Use knowledge to serve others. Ideas become powerful when they reduce suffering. Be useful. 5. Control emotion in moments of humiliation. When he was insulted in London, he did not react. He adjusted his strategy. Calm thinking wins long wars. 6. Compromise can be strength. Rigid pride breaks systems. Flexible wisdom builds them. 7. Think beyond your lifetime. Franklin did not work for applause. He worked for stability. He worked for systems. that would survive him. The quiet question. If a boy with 2 years of schooling can become a scientist, a diplomat, a founder of a nation, then what truly limits a person? Lack of opportunity? Or lack of discipline? Franklin would answer quietly. Build yourself first. History remembers conquerors. But civilization is built by architects of character. Benjamin Franklin was not loud. He was deliberate. He was not dramatic. He was structured. He did not rise suddenly. He rose consistently. And consistency is a quiet form of power. Thank you for listening. Here, we do not only learn English. We learn how strong minds are built. One habit at a time.